And we're live. Hey, everybody here with one of my top agents and the OG. Marsha has been with me on my journey with building a team for now, God, 6 years?
Six
long years.
6 long.
And
it seems like it was just yesterday.
She used to have a super short hair and now it's long and she looks younger.
Yeah.
See what happens when you work for the Wehner Group. But I wanted to bring her to you today so you can see how a top agent can stay with the team and flourish and grow year after year. And I'll say, and Marsha is one of the most honest people I know, and that's what I really appreciate about her. But it hasn't always been easy. We've definitely gone through growing pains, not just as a team, but with our relationship. And it's so important to me that she is happy and I'm happy, and we're both growing together. And it's just like any relationship. Sometimes it takes work, and we have to get through challenges together. But we'll talk about everything today: the good, bad, and the ugly.
All right, I'm ready.
Tell me a little bit about you, background, just short Marcia's story of the Marcia Chronicles.
Yeah, which we know that's one thing that I'm not good at, is keeping it short, but I will do my best. So, moved to Arizona in '87 and met my husband, Dan, shortly after. And we have a daughter, Shelby, who, we all know what I think of her. She's amazing. Moved to Anthem back in '99, so been here for a long time. I'm not one that moves around a lot. And got into real estate in '04, way back in the day. And we were buying and selling vacant land. And so I always say to my clients, I've been doing this type of real estate since 2010. And then found Jennifer actually through a ad on Craigslist in 2014. And, so I always tell her, best ad I ever answered. So that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, and you have been so awesome. I think one of the very first buyers I introduced you to was a buyer that was about an hour away from where you lived, and not a high price range, but I saw that you just worked so hard to make sure that buyer was happy. It wasn't about the check, but the checks came, and now what did you do last year? Where did you close out last year?
As far as volume, I was just under 20 million. And boy, on yields, I think I was just under 40.
And you're just over 12 million year to date. So you're on track for definitely far surpassing that number.
Yeah, it's proving to be a good year. I'm actually under what the goal I set for myself, but we all had a little bit of an interruption, so I'm happy to be on track, and plan on it being a banner year.
Well, in a week, last week, we were still in the process of the interruption, and you put 3.2 million in escrow last week.
I did. It was, that's a good week. I think at any point in my career, I'm never going to say that putting 3.2 million under contract in a week is just a walk in the park. But it was a very good week. And, some of the buyers I'd been working with for a while, and then some, were new. And I mean, one thing I love about, you were talking about price range, and who doesn't like to close a luxury buyer, right? But I love my first-time home buyers, and most of them are not going to have that high of a price range. It keeps my job new and exciting. I love the fact that I get that opportunity with the Wehner Group, to work kind of a little bit of everything.
Yeah, you've definitely helped so many clients over the years, luxury to first-time home buyers, and you don't discriminate, and you don't even the problem children, even the clients that kind of give us a little bit of a hard time, it's almost like more of a challenge sometimes for you to see it through the finish line with them. And I always know that when they're in your car, when they're in your hands, being taken very good care of. I was talking to one of your clients last week, which is awesome that we had this EXP model, because it was a past client of yours that's interested in joining our team. And as I was talking, he was telling me how you would say, don't buy this house, Todd. Like, it's not just about the commission. You're going to have to put a little more work in, but you were actually telling him to back out of a house because of
I remember it well. And, I love these guys and loved them from the start. They were such a joy to work with. And he kept saying, I've never had an agent try to talk me out of buying a house. And, there's certain things that I truly believe in my soul, and I just refuse to ever let the industry or the business or the paycheck get in the way of that. And, we have a team member who said this statement, but we all use it now. And, I want my buyers to be screaming my name from the rooftops. And I changed it a little bit to say, I want to be screaming my name in a happy way and not cursing me from that rooftop. So it's important to me that, after they move in and, 5 years down the road, that they remember how they got there. And, I feel like an agent's a big part of that. And if I ever sold a house to somebody that I truly knew there were going to be issues or maybe a little bit more work than it originally looked like, that would haunt me, so I'd rather tell a buyer, let's keep looking than, I don't know. I don't want to ever say that somebody is dishonest, but it's hard sometimes not to think about the commission at the end of the day, because that's how we make our living, so.
Well, and there are times where when you count the dollar per hour of the hours you put into some transactions, it's like, okay, I could have made more money picking cotton in 1867.
Right. Yeah. One of the things that I stand by also is that I will be there when my buyer's ready, when my client's ready. And I've proven it. We've got my longest standing client. I met him when I first started with you and with a different brokerage. And he would come every year. Sometimes we wouldn't even look at houses. We'd just sit in the conference room and visit about sports, which we both are big fans of. And, talk a little bit about the market, talk about his family. And we did that for 5 years before he actually bought. So, when I look at it, and I guess if I was to break down maybe the dollar per hour that I was making, but I'll tell you what, after he bought, we were sitting in a team meeting not that long ago, and this guy opened the door, and I was looking, I was like, hey, that guy looks so familiar. And Shaylin got up and said something to him. And when she told me who it was, I ran out the door because I just wasn't expecting to see him. And he had just stopped in. He said, we've talked every year, for the past 5 years, whenever I would come, he would come in for spring training. And so he just wanted to come and say hello and tell me how happy they were with the house. So those are the things that, honestly, whenever I just think that I've had enough, it warms my heart. I mean, I hope that's coming through, because it just makes me so happy to have a client just be happy with the job I did for them. So, and a lot of them are my friends.
I know. I love that. And I've met them, at client events, and they're always so happy and sing your praises and not cursing your praises. And one thing too that I really admire about you is, like, you're so much like me, where you're always trying to learn and grow. You're very humble. You do make mistakes. I make mistakes. And, it's like, you don't try to pass the buck. You take responsibility and you use it as a learning experience. And you even use other agents. Like, we all collaborate on the team when things go wrong. Like, you're always looking to find, like, how you can learn from that, and volunteering, like, information and sharing. So that learning and growing and collaborating is what I admire from you, and I don't know if you want to kind of, take that from there, like what you think our culture is surrounding that.
Yeah. So we were talking before we went live about the fact that I learn on every transaction I do. So I think anytime an agent feels that they've hit a point that they know everything, I'd question that. They need to do a couple more transactions because there's always new things that come up. But one thing that I do love about the Wehner Group and working with you and the opportunity that I've been given is, as you said, I'm the OG, go way back, and the team has changed a lot. But you had always really just embedded in me your belief that we needed to keep learning, we needed to keep growing, and we needed to be open to that. And sometimes those were the times when we would butt heads a little bit, but I've learned, the technology along the way, and, every time, like with the CRM, and it's always ends up being a better way to manage our database, and, the masterminds that we've done just with the team. And then, go a little off topic, not too much, but just even when you made the decision to move us to EXP, and, boy, we're so blessed with some of the people that we've been able to meet with. I'm so blessed. And, when you had us do a couple of masterminds directly with Dan Beer and Kyle Whistle out of San Diego, and boy, if I think I know a lot, all I have to do is sit in the room with them for about 10 minutes. I'm like, yeah, no, I feel like a rookie agent that just got their license. And, those are the things in our culture that instead of being intimidated by an agent that, maybe has done more transactions, or they've tried it a different way, or whatever it may be, you've really always given that environment of, hey, we just, we get the chance to learn, ask them questions, and, so blessed to be on a team that is open to that.
I know at first when we were small, it was just a very small team. It was you, and then we grew, had a transaction coordinator, and then Shaylin came, and slowly we've grown to where we're at today. And at first you didn't like it. You didn't like the change. You felt that you might get lost, or you wouldn't grow, or it was going to affect you. But the more we've grown every single year, you've done better. Every single year you've not just made more money, but you've also learned so much.
Yeah, it came up not that long ago in one of our masterminds, and I remember the first time you told me you were going to bring on another buyer's agent, and I was driving home from an appointment, and I was not happy. Why would you need anything more than me? And you promised me, that time and many times after, you said, in order for us to grow, the team's going to have to grow. And I promise you, there's enough work for everyone. Mm-hmm. And we were talking to agents that have been in the business for a long time that are on the team, but that luckily we're a busy team, and finding that time to have step away from the business. And it made me remember, because I was so worried that another agent coming on the team was going to take away my business and my ability to make money and grow and all of that, where the reality is there's enough work out there. And if we grow and learn and become the best agent we can, we have to step away, because, it's kind of like, if you're not taking care of yourself, you can't take care of somebody else. And we say that about our families, but we need to say it about our clients too. We can become so overwhelmed and so embedded in the business that taking that break. And so, yeah, I mean, look at the size of the team now, Jennifer, to me, it's amazing. And I think of the last 5 years and when all the growth happened, and there were challenges, and sometimes there were steps backwards, but you have always brought the team forward. And, I've said so many times, I'm so blessed to be a part of it. And it makes me feel good when I can say to a fellow agent on the team now, it's okay to take a day off. You may miss that one call, but you're going to be more prepared for the next one. So yeah, thank you for growing the team.
Well, and I love that we've grown together, that you used to have more of a scarcity mindset and now it's not. You have a mindset of abundance because you've seen year after year, like, how important you are to me. And, we just went through a personal relationship challenge. Like, what is it, about a month ago? Mm-hmm. And, it's like, I was like, it's just like getting through that, we know, like in any relationship, those things are going to come up, but not be scared of them, just like how we're able to get through them and get better together and grow together.
Yeah. And, it is funny, right? Because, 6 years, we're longer than some marriages, right? As far as, and we spend a lot of time together.
And I've slept in the same bed with you, but you don't like to cuddle.
Yeah, I know. I've tried that. And I don't like to, well, I shouldn't even say this, but I don't really like to talk on the phone. So if I'm not on the phone with a client and it's about business, I'm not a chit chatter, believe it or not. But yeah, the nice thing
I
too.
know you're trying to get me off the phone.
I know, I'm always, and I've had people say, anyway, yes, we all know, anybody that knows me well, if we're not talking about something, and then, get me face to face and I won't be quiet. But what I think really is unique, and I do talk to people on other teams, and I talk, when they talk about their culture, you make a family, right? I mean, you care truly about every agent that's on there. And that's really important to me. So I think part of the reason that it's a good fit. And when you do that, you are going to have arguments, right? You're going to have the days that you just aren't getting along. And I think you've learned I'm somebody that, I get on the phone and you give me that time to blow up. And usually by the time I'm done, I'm like, oh, Marsha, what were you doing? But you don't. You just say, okay, now give me a chance. It's my turn. And, at the end, we've always hung up, better. And everything's back on track. And, the fact that you give me the space to have those moments, it just means a lot, because not every team leader would do that. And not every team leader would care about, what's going on in my family, or, what Shelby doing, or, how's Dan, and those things they're important. And, it's something that I think more agents are looking for than maybe even realize it.
No, it's true. We spend so much of our life with each other. Like I know I've been discouraged to say, don't call your team your work family. But you guys are. And I mean, we've not just work family, but we hired your family, Shelby, her comment makes me want to cry. She says to you, you are such an inspiration, an incredible agent to work with, an incredible person to be with, but most of all, the best mom I could ever have asked for. Love you.
Oh, she just said that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I should tell her, get to work. No. I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's honestly, I never thought that Shelby and I would be have an opportunity to work together. I said after our first interview, because it wouldn't have been a good one in the first one, I never considered myself a salesperson. I don't have what I thought the typical personality. I don't have that personality that I thought was needed to be a good salesperson. And, Dan's a little bit more of an entrepreneur, always ran his own companies. I was the one that worked for him, right? And that's just a comfort level for me. So the fact that I am getting to watch, our daughter, watch Shelby grow and be on what I think is an amazing team. And it's, brings a lot of pride when she gets a shout out from the team, and she's really rocking it. She's going to kick my butt, probably sooner than I was hoping. She's going to make it look like I was standing still, but yeah, and that's even just another example, Jen. That's a leap of faith to hire family, right? I mean, not your work family. You hired my family.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, I mean, not for you, Marsha. I love you, but I wouldn't have hired her just for you. But I will give your testament is what an amazing mom you have been. And I know you've talked about Shelby. I know that her and Dan are your why, and your family is so important to you. And so I would never, we probably even interviewed her extra because wanted to make sure it was going to be the right fit before bringing her on. It's not a good fit. And she's amazing. She's so amazing in so many ways, not just what she brings to work, but just who she is as a person. So like, congrats to you guys because she is so great. She is so lucky to have you.
Well, thank you. And I'm pretty lucky to have her too. So and again, yeah, I think she's pretty amazing. And she's got just a lot to bring any position that she, decides to do. And it was Christine who said, she's going to get the real estate bug. And then, you said it too. And I think she did. So, it's going to be fun to watch her journey.
And kind of like taking this back to like a couple moments ago when you were talking about you didn't think you had the right personality to get into real estate. And there's a DISC assessment that we take. And I never look at it like oh yeah, that person's going to be great for the job by looking for it. It just helps me understand who it is. And funny enough, you and Lisa Linke, two of the top agents of our team, have high SE personalities, meaning like you are not like that type A, like people person life of the party. I would not say that though. You are and Lisa both are life of the party.
Yeah, Lisa and I both like a good party.
I know. But you're the SCs, and Lisa Linke said the same thing. She had been turned down by a team because of her personality. You guys lead the team with production and volume, and you're not the high DIs everyone says you have to be. So it's like, throw that out the window. If you want it, you can get it. And that's what you two want. You want it. And now it's been more than ever. People don't want that used car salesman, like sign on the dotted line. They want an advocate. They want somebody that's going to hold their hand. And then that's what you're offering them. And that's what keeps them coming back and also referring you. Yeah,
it is. I think it's just people's traditional mindset on what a salesperson is. And I've found at least with clients I work with, right? Because clients and agents, they have to be a good fit. And you're not going to be a good fit with everyone. And that's okay, because they would just end up being hard for you to work with, because the personalities don't mesh. But I think, buyers and sellers really want somebody that just care. They don't just care about the commission, don't care about closing the sale. They want somebody that cares about their journey and what their needs and, what their pain is, and pain, joy, and all of it. So I would have never did I dream of being a real estate agent. No, but I can also say I never dreamed I would have the income that I have. And, so if you're wondering, if you like people and you care about people, real estate really could be your thing, because it's that simple. Learn your market, which is fun. Who doesn't like to go look at a beautiful house? And
sometimes not so beautiful.
Yeah, and sometimes not so beautiful. Yes, we had a couple of those. But then you can dream about what you can do to make them beautiful, right? Mm-hmm. So there's just so much about getting out. None of my days look the same. I am always meeting new people, which is so exciting. And like I said, walking into $3 million homes and then walking into the $80,000 home that why it's listed for $80,000. But how exciting, right? What more could you ask for out of your day?
Yeah. And one thing that's important to you is your family, which we talked about, but leverage. It's like, if you had to wear all the hats and when you go on vacation, it's just not a lifestyle. Why work that hard if you can't even enjoy it? And I know how important that's to you. And, if you can just talk about like being able to lean on the team, when you do take vacations or you just, I think last week you called, you're like, can you write a contract for me? This $800,000 house, I have a 4 o'clock, a 5 o'clock, and a 6 o'clock.
Yeah, it was a busy week last week, but you just said it. You answered the question. I called my team lead, who trusts me. She's busy. You've got a lot going on, Jennifer. You've got your own family, your own business. You're running the business for all of us. And it's open on this team that I reached out to you and said, I need help. I need you to write an offer. And, you were busy and you said, I can stay online or Shaylin can help you. And how do I even explain that to an agent that just feels like they are never caught up and they never can take a day off? And I said, I've been doing it for a long time. And I wasn't on a team when I first started. And I look now and I truly believe I could not do the volume that I do without the leverage that I have. Having the transaction coordinator, I remember you saying to me at one point, you said, I want you to get them under contract. And we never leave our clients, but you didn't want me to have to worry about the paperwork. You said, I want you to go and meet the next person and, make sure the experience for the client that's under contract is a good one. So yeah, from the marketing to the transaction management to the team help, I did a video for Rachel here in Anthem. I had Shaylin, oh my goodness, has done so many different things for me. And it's just really nice to be able to pick up the phone and call and get help. And so when I think a lot of agents say it that are on teams, but I can say to my client, if I'm out of town, because I want to take some time off. It's important. And, I'm at that time in my life, Dan and I are empty nesters. So it's nice to get away sometimes. And anyway, I can truly say to a client, if you happen to be coming to town while I'm gone, don't worry. Call me, I'll get everything lined up and I'll have somebody on the team take you out. And that has happened, where a team member has stepped up and they've gone and they've opened the doors for me. And, I get to come in from the beach and, get on the computer and still get on the phone. I'm not gone in some of the cases, but, I've got feet on the ground, that are helping me. And that's just, there's not a solo agent out there that can say, they have somebody that does that for them. So it's really a benefit. And then we did, every once in a while, I loved Colorado mountains all the time in the summer. And, you'd think I'd learn there's not a great signal and I don't get the Wi-Fi and feeling like I'm attached to my phone and attached to the cabin. And I think, my last situation and still at the end of it, Jen, even though I could have done things so much better. And again, learning, you could have really given me a talking to on that one, but instead your answer was, what can we do now? And, everything worked out okay. And at the end, you just said, when you go next year, because you know me, I will if I can. And you said, let's just have it set up better. So, wow.
I wanted to help, and I remember that I was like, she deserves it. She works hard. And I'm not working. I'm nowhere pretty. I'm on my couch. Let me talk to the client, because I know a burnt out Marsha is not a good Marsha for our team or for her family. Go have fun. I got this, because I know you would do the same for me anyways. And you have.
Yeah, one thing I can honestly say about everybody on our team, I don't think I've ever heard any of us have to come forward and say, I asked so-and-so and they just said no. There's times we may not be in a position to help, but truly everybody on the team, if they can help, they do. And that's, again, so much about the culture of the team and our values and what you look for in agents coming on. So it's wonderful.
And when I moved from Remax to EXP, and at one of the worst times because we were so busy, we were understaffed, and then I had to go build out this office. Well, honestly, I don't even know if I told you this, but you were one of the compelling reasons why. You were part of the compelling reasons why I moved, because I just stay forever. Like, I can't, I don't want to be like 80 years old, like climbing up the steps and my hip goes out and the cat eats my face and they find me 3 days later.
Yeah.
I wanted to be able to like have a retirement and multiple streams of income. And I thought about you. I'm like, I know you want to retire too. And what a better model and platform that EXP offers, along with our awesome partners like Julie DeRoche, which I know referred you some great
Yeah.
clients, and Dan and Kyle and Jay Kinder and Curtis Johnson, just so many great minds. But the revenue share part, and the revenue share part is like when you have people that you care about, what our company offers, what the Wehner Group offers. And just by introducing that, you can build up that ancillary income so you can have that retirement. And out of all the agents, I was thinking of course, myself, but also I was definitely thinking of you and how you can use this to build up your retirement.
Yeah, it's something that I always want to take more advantage of. And just having the ability to say that if it wasn't available, I couldn't take advantage of it. And bringing on agents, the nice thing about EXP is it's not a hard sell. If you can really get somebody to sit down and talk to you, and you just mentioned the agents and the network that we have, and special shout out to the DeRoches. I mean, they're wonderful, and Julie's amazing to listen to in what she does and building the referral business. And again, just having the ability to talk to those people and being able to talk to either an experienced agent or a newer agent and tell them about the benefits of EXP and bringing them on, and knowing that, again, it's not a hard sell. I care about you. You're a good agent. You might want to look into this. It could be a really good fit for you. And knowing that, what I'm saying to them is coming from the heart, because it was a challenging time when we made the move, but it was definitely worth it. Something I'm happy we did.
Yeah. I'm happy that we did, and I'm happy that we're on this journey together. It's not only fun to work with you, but we've let our hair down. We've had fun. We've been in San Diego. I'm a better real estate agent than travel agent, right?
Yeah.
But having Mexican food, like, you drinking wine, and me, now eating a lot of food. But just it's like we've grown. Oh, and your husband's cheese and fruit and vegetable plates are. I did like a mini Dan, and it wasn't Dan's, but
I've tried to.
Being able to have fun together as well as work together.
Yeah, it is. It's just, it's important. And, it's, again, I guess I just can't stress enough. Like when I was on my own, I know what my income was. I started with you and I doubled it. And I went up again the next year. And I think it was on that third year that we had in one of the meetings, you guys said, write down what you want to make this year and then double it. And I did, and I was like, oh goodness, that would be so great. And I didn't do it the next year, but that following year, I hit that number. And then you guys, we did the exercise again. And what was funny is when I doubled that number, I was like, yeah, you can do that. And it's a big number. And, this is being part of a team, guys. This is, everybody's like, oh, I don't want to, split my commission with anyone. But I'll tell you, I couldn't do the volume without having it. And then you add to it, the different opportunities with the stock options and, agent recruitment that EXP offers. I truly, retirement becomes more of a reality for me. I'd like to retire, like you said, before I'm, found fallen down the stairs of, one of those rickety houses. So and then, being able to still stay involved in the business, right? I don't know that I'm anywhere near wanting to just make a complete exit.
Mm-hmm.
And this also gives me that ability to still stay involved and, work with some new agents and, maybe share my experiences and, still watch the company grow. So there are a lot of opportunities there that, are there for the taking.
I love it. You fight for what you know is right. You fight for what you want. You fight for your family. You fight for your team. Fight for your clients, and that's what I love about you. Is you are you're a fighter, and you don't take no for an answer.
Yeah, I don't like to. I tell people I'm tougher than I look. And that's one thing I like too is, being real gentle with my clients and then maybe a little bit more of a bulldog when I'm negotiating for them. But, always, learning to remember maybe the agent on the other side of the room isn't, maybe they haven't had the same experience and, being a little gentle with everybody. I think if we just go in wanting the best outcome for buyers and sellers, right? That's who our clients are. Mm-hmm. Then it's going to be a smooth transaction. So it's a fun business. Yes, I'm really glad I did it. All right.
Well, let me think of one last question. If anyone has a question, put it in the chat box. But just for fun, Marsha, craziest real estate story that you've had?
Oh, goodness, just one, because there's a bunch of them, but I will say the one that I'm figuring you would want me to, well, if you aren't thinking of it, you'll chuckle when I do. I did have a client who, Mrs. Buyer, was pregnant with twins for, I'd say probably a good 18 months. And the twins were never born. And they would include me on their texts in the morning about the affairs and the fact they were calling the lawyers, and then they both would apologize for the other one. And it was a client I didn't close. I don't know if they ever bought a house in the Valley, but I will say it probably my most interesting. And I stuck with them way too long, right? I mean, that's the thing, He showed up he wanted to do his own inspection because we were under contract at one point, and nothing to anybody, whether you like guns or not, but it's not fun to walk into an inspection. We were kind of out in the boondocks, and he came in strapping his pistol, and I thought, well, here we go. But I got to tell you, most of them, I would say a good 99% of my buyers, they're fun. They want to buy a house. I mean, what can be more exciting? It's like the biggest purchase that people make, mm-hmm. and how fun that we get the opportunity to make it exciting. I tell my buyers, let me handle the stress. You sit back and just enjoy the process. So and I get to enjoy it with them. It's a great way to make a living.
Yeah, and it's never boring.
No.
Never, ever.
No, not at all.
Well, I really appreciate you sharing about our relationship today. And, it's your time is so very valuable. And, I love you. And I love Shelby. And, our team loves you. So
thank you, Jen. I know I say it all the time, but I think now everybody's probably heard it often enough with enough sincerity that everybody believes me. I'm blessed to be a part of the Wehner Group. So blessed I answered that ad that day and got to be a part of this journey with you, and not going anywhere yet. So I enjoy, you're looking forward to, what's coming next.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited for that chapter. Thanks everybody for joining us, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks, Marcia.
Bye. Thanks, Jen. Love you.
Bye.